My name is Bryan Hynes. I'm a dairy farmer from County Galway, and I chose this model as I just feel it's becoming more fitting in Ireland in the coming years. In post-quote scenarios, people want to expand their business and feel they can do it, we'll say, to move on to a second unit rather than complicating the home farm. So that's the reason for picking this topic. Information was gathered through face-to-face interviews across 10 countries. So why would you want more than one dairy unit? And a stipulation at the very start that the warning is that the home farm must be humming, must be hitting key performance indicators, it must be churning out excess cash. And then and only then can it be considered. So one of the main reasons I feel this is a fitting subject for Ireland is farm fragmentation. And linked to that is small milking platforms. The average farm in Ireland is 32 hectares, which is broken into 3 divisions. This is not conducive to grass-based dairy farming. These farmers have the option to replicate a simple system rather than complicating a system, which as you increase stock rates, which invariably happens. This is going to become a normal method of expansion. As in the post-quote scenario, as I stated earlier, people will look to expand their business, and multiple units is an option for that. So, is there a right time to look for and set up a second unit or a third unit? Yes, is the answer, but the building blocks must be in place. You must have a team built that you can step away from the home farm and relinquish control, because your time is going to be needed in the setting up and running of the next unit. And the next trigger is milk price. And as stated by Dennis Brosnan earlier, the time is actually to move on a poor milk price year. The top operators I met in my travels chose to move and set up a new business in years when milk prices were down. An example is Jim van der Poel in New Zealand, who bought his first dairy farm when milk prices were on the floor. And he bought the farm at prices he couldn't have imagined 2 years previous. And he said he had the vision to see that milk price wasn't going to last forever, and he saw the opportunities that were available at that time. So managing multiple units can be broken into 4 divisions. The farm owner goes off and manages all the units. He can employ farm managers to manage them. You can employ share or contract milkers, or you can turn to partnerships. So when farm owner manages all units, through this system they can manage up to 5 units. According to Adrian Van Westerveld, they can manage up to 5 units, provided they can step back from 90% of the physical work. So this is only possible if they're capable of people working on the farms. And if their job is now to go around and put management plans in place to ensure performance on the farms. The advantage of the system is they are in control and they know what's happening on each farm. The disadvantage, it can be difficult to empower staff because there's an element of micromanaging coming and going. In an Irish context, while not common on my travels, this method of managing multiple units, I do think this it could be very fitting for Ireland in the smaller scale farmers that they could go out and take on a second unit and manage the both themselves. So the next model is employing farm managers. Managers are given various levels of responsibility, but they should be given control of the farm. They're generally paid a set wage. Bonuses are an option. However, on bonuses, production-related bonuses on my travels I've seen were not working. It's too easy to get a cheap fix by moving the cows early, not grazing down, and feeding excess concentrates, which is not going to help the bottom line in the long run. Bonuses, however, in animal health, such as somatic cell count and total bacteria count, work very well. An advantage to this system is keeping ownership of the business. A disadvantage is staff retention can prove difficult. As the farmers, you want to be farm managers, but the good ones will want to go off and manage their own farms. In Irish context, I think this could provide opportunities for graduates after college to give them a chance to manage a farm while still have the overall support and guidance from the farm owner. Sorry. Just an example of this was of employing farm managers was Andrew Fletcher in Grasslands, UK. In 2000, Andrew Fletcher had 250 cows in one unit. Fast forward 7 years in 2010, he had 2,300 cows across 7 milking units. And through his own admission, he was hemorrhaging money. They had no plan in place, there was no strategic planning, there was no reporting. And he always believes that when he took on the next unit, that they didn't start making money, and he always believed that the next year they start making money. But in 2010, they reevaluated the business and shook it up. They put in standard operating procedures, they put in weekly reporting, and they've turned the business around since. So that was just an example of bigger isn't always better. He said he always believed he'd start making money next year. Wasn't happening. He just had to sit back and get the whole thing up and running from the start again. So the next option is offering skin in the game. This is in the line of contract milking or share milking and offers huge potential because it allows you to bring someone else into the business. I think it's important to don't think about what you're giving up, but think about what you can gain by these people coming in. These models attract the best operators, as you can give them the opportunity to have cow ownership and allow them to build equity in themselves. And one of the reason you're getting top performance is because the decisions they make in their everyday affects their own pocket. The advantage of this decision is top performance levels are achieved. The disadvantage is you're giving up some of the business. But as I stated earlier, you are in a position to gain a lot more. In Irish context, there's huge potential for this management models to attract and retain young farmers into dairy businesses. An example of someone doing this is Rhys Williams. He's in Wales and has 3 farms run by share milkers. His aim is to have all share milkers owning at least 10% of the cows. Ideally, they own 50% of the cows. He wants them to have debt in the business because the debt is going to make them think twice about spending. Joining forces. Farm partnerships and equity partnerships. These are great for allowing 2 or more people expand together. Everyone involved in the business has a vested interest. The equity partnership is the only model that allows the operator and owners and investors to all have an equal share in the whole business, from land, infrastructure, and soil. It allows people to it allows people to buy a small share of a big business rather than own 100% of a small one. And this, in New Zealand in particular, younger people, they like to go and milk in big herds. Roster, time off. So the way they're going is they might buy a small percentage of a big herd, and that's their way of expanding and getting into the business. The advantage of this system is its ability to attract investors. The disadvantage is people can have contrasting views, which leads to slow decision-making processes. Some people are in to make money quickly, and other people are in the long term, and this can cause slow decisions down the line as the business is growing. An example of this is in New Zealand, where I visited Carlos and Jacilo Corrido. In 1998, they moved from Argentina to New Zealand with only their farming skills. Today, they own a 31% stake in an 800 cow equity partnership, and they also own a 10% share in a 120 hectare milk equity partnership. So that just shows the potential of the equity partnerships. So what are the benefits of running multiple units? It provides access to scale. It provides competition and benchmarking between the units, which drives performance. It gives you the opportunity to add value. One herd can be milked A2, grass-fed, once a day, organics. You have options between different units and what suits different farms and different farm managers. Recommendation, back to it again. If the home farm isn't running, this isn't an option. It's very important to bring people into the business. Farm organisations such as Teagasc, Department of Agriculture, and farmers, we must adopt these new concepts to attract new people to the industry. We must make dairy farming an attractive career. We need to be in a position to attract new people to the industry and retain them. We must be able to compete with other sectors in terms of salary and lifestyle. We must recognise ambition. We must recognise ambition of the people working on our farms. What do they want? We must have a clear development pathway for them in the agriculture to let them get on the ladder themselves if they so wish. Advisory service. Currently, there is no advisory service for people running multiple units. There's one discussion group in the UK that is set up as a multi-unit operator group. I think there's an opportunity for Teagasc to undertake research and facilitate a discussion group in this area. Professional team. As your business grows and as multi-units operators, as I talk to them, you can't do everything yourself, and you become much more reliant on having good access to accountants, solicitors, bankers, and farm advisors. They're going to help drive the business. They must also understand the vision of your farm and where you want to go. Training and mentorship. We must ensure graduates leave education with the skills to manage a dairy unit. And us as farmers have the responsibility to mentor these and help them grow to reach their goals. So now I'd just like to thank the sponsors for Nuffield for this great opportunity. I'd like to thank my family for the support and friends, and I'd like to thank my mentor, Aisling Meehan.